One of the questions that I get the most is whether someone should switch from a Galaxy phone to iPhone. I have had both versions of Galaxy S24 for over half a year, and I recently bought the iPhone 16. I use Galaxy for personal use and iPhone for work, so I'm pretty familiar with both systems. Today, I will spend a full day in the beautiful city of Vienna comparing Galaxy S24 versus iPhone 16. I will test the battery life, camera, performance, thermals, and many other things. Galaxy S24 has two variants, Exynos for global users and Snapdragon for North America, but I will also use the Snapdragon later in the video for the performance test. Both Galaxies are running 6.1.1 One UI, and the iPhone is running the latest update of iOS 18 that I got yesterday. Also, for those who don't know me, I am Mo and I'm a scientist. I try my best to be impartial in this video and keep the conditions similar. I started my Sunday at 9:30 in the morning and both phones were charged to 100%. It is the end of summer here and the weather is very mild. We are talking about 16 to 22 centigrade, which is 66 to 71 Fahrenheit. While both phones are connected to Wi-Fi, I played some YouTube shows while having breakfast. Then I played some YouTube in long format. And by the end of this part of the test, Galaxy S24 on the right side was at 95%, while iPhone 16 was at 97%. Usually, calibration on iPhone works in a way that the initial percentage doesn't go down fast. Let's take a look at the design of both phones. This year, the iPhone 16 looks very similar to the Galaxy S24. The only difference is that the Galaxy S24 has a third camera on the back, which makes a difference. Also, the camera bump on the iPhone is definitely bigger than one on the Galaxy, and you can feel it wobbling on the table more. The other difference is that on the left side of the iPhone, there's a new camera button that we will get into later. It is very ironic that Apple is the one that is adding more buttons compared to Android phones. Also, there is an action button on top of volume rockers on the iPhones, making it 5 total buttons. The left side of the Galaxy S24 is completely empty. The weight is another difference between them. Even though historically iPhone have been lighter due to a smaller battery capacity, the Galaxy S24 weighs less than the iPhone 16. Galaxy weighs 173 grams on my scale, while iPhone 16 weighs 181 grams. This is 9 grams heavier than the Galaxy. 8 grams. Fortunately, the EU forced Apple last year to switch to USB-C. This year, both phones have USB-C like the last generation. The speakers are a little bit different on the bottom of the phones. Looking at the front, the iPhone 16 has a dynamic island, while the Galaxy S24 has a punch hole. They have similar dimensions and are comfortable to hold in hand. Funnily enough, the iPhone 16 looks more like a Galaxy than a Galaxy. It has more rounded corners, which I prefer when holding the phone. So enough of the design, let's go out and do the real test. I captured myself in the mirror while going down to start cycling. Both created similar footage. The colors are just slightly different. I started an app called Komoot, a GPS tracking app for cycling, to track my activity while going through the streets of Vienna. Both phones are visible enough under bright sunlight. Currently, the Galaxy S24 has 88% of its battery left, while the iPhone 16 has 86% left. Both phones are connected to the same 5G network outside. I'm also going to attach the iPhone 16 and Galaxy S24 to my bicycle. I will first attach the iPhone 16 for 20 minutes to capture 4K in 30 frames per second, and after that, I will attach the Samsung Galaxy S24 for again 20 minutes to capture another 4K 30 frames per second video. Both phones are running on adaptive brightness, which most people use. But since it is sunny outside, I assume both will run on max brightness. Looking at the footage that both phones produce, I feel the Galaxy S24 did a better job finding the white balance of asphalt, while the iPhone footage has a yellow tone to it. The sky is more vibrant in the Galaxy. It could be because of the better dynamic range, but it also could very well be because of the angle at which I took the video. I personally prefer the clear footage on Galaxy, but both of them did a great job of video stabilization. Also, since it is sunny, both are cranking up the shutter speed, but I still managed to get nice looking videos. On my way to the city center, I stopped by Danube, which had just a few days ago been flooded. The water still has not been cleared after the flood. Here, both phones created a very similar footage, and it's hard to tell them apart. If you zoom in, you will realize that the Galaxy can zoom in further compared to iPhone 16 due to the 3x telephoto lens, which is something I appreciate a lot. The 3 times telephoto lens is something I use very often when I'm taking pictures and videos, especially when I'm in a new city and I need to zoom into buildings. The 3 times telephoto lens is usually what most photographers consider a natural looking lens, basically what your eyes can see with the right proportions. The selfie camera of both of them is again quite similar. Maybe iPhone did a slightly better job lifting the shadows on my face and making my face more visible. The blacks on the Galaxy phone are a bit deeper too, and there is more contrast to the image. I stopped the GPS tracking after arriving at the center of Vienna. Right now it is 1:45 and Galaxy S24 has 74% battery left, while iPhone 16 has 71% battery left. Both phones recorded the same distance, which is the correct amount of 7.1 kilometers, and I can confirm this by looking at my bike's GPS, and I'm super happy with that. After this, I parked my bicycle somewhere and decided to roam around the city to take some pictures and videos. The temperature are rising a bit, but not too much. Just as a side note, the cases that I'm using are from a company called Taurus, which is the sponsor of the channel. I link them in the description. The pavement in the center is not even, and when I'm walking, the cameras visibly shake, but both of them did a great job stabilizing the image, and it feels like I'm shooting on a gimbal. You can never get such a result using a camera with a larger sensor. I don't know about you, but to my eyes, both of them did an equally great job, and I cannot tell which one is taking a better video right here. Here I try to test the zoom capabilities of both phones. As I said, both of them have an ultra-wide lens and a main lens, but Galaxy has a third telephoto lens that iPhone lacks. Here I'm doing a 3 times zoom into the subject. Considering the footage on iPhone is a digital crop, it is doing a relatively great job, even though Galaxy footage is sharper in a good way. One area in which the iPhone does a better job though is cinematic mode, which called portrait mode on the Galaxy. Here the iPhone kept track of the horses until the end, while Galaxy lost focus and started to focus hunt on other subjects. In taking picture of the city, the main difference, as I mentioned, is the color science. The sky is a bit more muted on the iPhone compared to the Galaxy. The Galaxy makes the sky more blue, while the iPhone keeps the original tone better. On the other hand, Galaxy keeps the color of the walls white, while the iPhone adds a yellow tone to them. Here something sweet happened. The guy didn't have cash, and the store only accepted cash, and the lady paid for his coffee. There are too many shots that I took that I definitely cannot tell which camera took which photo, and they are almost identical. Sometimes there is a bit of a gray filter on the Galaxy phones, while photos on iPhones are a bit more clear and shinier. On the other hand, when it comes to 5 times and 10 times zoom, Galaxy is the obvious winner, capturing more details of the subject and creating a better optical photo. I'm not taking a video with iPhone 16. I feel that the iPhone 16 color science fits very well with the city of Vienna. After walking for around 20 minutes, I arrived at one of my favorite cafes in Vienna. The name is Kashtan, I think, and they make super delicious cakes and pastries. My favorite is the pistachio croissant. In indoor photos, I feel the iPhone is doing a slightly better job and focusing on the right subject. Especially when it comes to shutter lag, it seems Galaxy hasn't fixed the issue yet. And if you take a look at this doggo, you will realize he's a bit blurrier on Galaxy compared to iPhone. I also shook my hand and took some photos to confirm my theory. And I noticed that the iPhone is doing a better job with a shutter lag than the Galaxy for indoor photos. By the time I was finished taking all photos and videos, the iPhone 16 had 52% battery left, while the S24 had 57% battery left. Neither of them has become hot so far during the day trip, but again, the temperature outside is very mild. I cycled back home and I also decided to use the cool dual camera feature on the Galaxy. Samsung definitely offers the most feature-rich camera experience among flagship phones. This mode is very cool for vlogging. For example, when I found out these guys are doing some Mario Kart in the middle of city of Vienna or whatever it is, let me down in the comments if you know what the hell is going on here. Also, on my way back home, I met your ex and decided to take a video of her in 8K for Galaxy and 4K for iPhone. 8K is especially useful if you want to punch into the subject or you want to zoom in. The footage on the Galaxy is better here, which is combination of 8K video and 3 times telephoto lens. By the time I got home, S24 has 44% battery left, while iPhone 16 had 47% battery left. Then I decided to test the performance of the new A18 chipset on iPhone 16. Here, I also added the S24 Snapdragon in the mix on the right side. I ran the AnTuTu benchmark that checks the performance of the CPU, GPU, memory, and UX. By the end of the test, the S24 Snapdragon on the right side got 1.89 million, in the middle the S24 Exynos got 1.8 million, and the left side the iPhone 16 got 1.7 million. So the iPhone A18 is still behind, at least in the benchmark, even though it is using the latest 3nm Apple Silicon chipsets. That said, the iPhone 16 stayed relatively cooler compared to the other two. After the iPhone 16, Snapdragon was the coolest, and last was Exynos. One main difference between the two systems is also the unlock method. iPhones relies on the face detection with a dynamic island implementation, which works very well and fast, while Galaxy uses an ultrasonic under-display fingerprint scanner, which also works great and fast. It really depends on your preference which one you would like to choose, but both are great on their own ways. iPhone 16 still uses a 60Hz display. I know some people may disagree, but to an extent, it is true that 60Hz displays looks better on an iPhone compared to an Android with 60Hz display. That said, even swiping on the main screen, you can see that the iPhone definitely feels more sluggish compared to a 120Hz LTPO display on the S24. Also, we can compare these two phones without comparing their operating systems. S24 is running Android with some Galaxy AI stuff, and I kind of admit it is cool, like the slow motion effect that I use sometimes on the gallery, or the cycle to search, which I found very useful when I'm in a new city and I want to get more information about the buildings that I took a picture of. The camera app is also very feature rich. You can do all kind of manual control over it, whether you are in expert mode or pro video mode. And I use this a lot to have control over ISO and shutter speed. Apple Intelligence is not here yet, but on the other hand, the iPhone 16 has this new camera button. I was initially very excited about it, but the position of it is not optimal, and my fingers hurt whether I use it in the vertical or horizontal mode. I think this is a great missed opportunity from Apple to also add a fingerprint scanner here on the camera button. But at least you can open your camera using this button. The other feature that I like is the action button. You can program it to all kind of actions. I simply silence my phone with it. Also with iPhone, you get all of walled ecosystem feature that is important to have if you have a Mac mini or MacBook like I do, or you want to share your pictures with your friends with AirDrop. If you have friends that have Apple, probably you've heard millions times that they ask you to AirDrop something. I then played some chess and did a bunch of random things on both phones before it got dark. By the end of the test, S24 with 4 hours and 10 minutes screen on time had 25% battery left, while iPhone 16 with 4 hours and 2 minutes screen on time had 28% battery left. All in all, my conclusion is that if you already have an iPhone and you plan to switch to a new one, the iPhone 16 is a nice upgrade. The new ultra-wide camera, the new chipset, and the action button are all welcome upgrades on this compact flagship. Also, the colors are punchy and nice. On the other hand, if you have Galaxy S24, you are not missing anything, and I don't think switching to iPhone will give you a peace of mind. The battery of iPhone 16 is not necessarily better than that of the Galaxy S24. The performance is not better, the display is only 60Hz, you will lose a telephoto lens, and there is not much that you can gain from this. Also, the Galaxy is often found to be much cheaper than iPhone in retail. Maybe the real comparison should be between Galaxy S24 and iPhone 16 Pro. You probably noticed that I did not do any portrait photos or night photos in this comparison. The reason is that there is a whole video dedicated to comparison of iPhone 16 versus S24 versus Pixel 9 camera, which you can watch next. Please don't forget to like the video, it helps us a lot. Thanks for tuning into Techmo, and I will see you in the next one.